Well, not the kind of kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine. I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone fast with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for a living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building.
He is the author of Obama, the Postmodern Coup, available at Infowars.com. Your phone calls right now. Steve in Chicago, you're on the air worldwide as we blast out on AM and FM dial across the country, global shortwave at WWCR, the internet at Infowars.com. And, of course, with now more than 60,000 people a day pulling our free podcast. If you haven't done it, check it out. Listen how you want, when you want, where you want. And, of course, number 1 on Shoutcast, number 1 on the internet for radio listeners. Webster Tarpley, continuing with your analysis. Let's get the take of the callers. Steve in Chicago, you're on the air worldwide.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm talking to two fine men. Secondly, I think that you guys have been turned around backwards on this situation with Russia. You didn't even report that last month, it was July 25th, that Putin had threatened the United States with stationing atomic bombers in Cuba.
Look, Putin has been warning the U.S. loyally all through 2007 at that Munich Wehrkunde meeting in the springtime. He talked about this neocon striving for U.S.
Stop, Tarpley. I'm going to let you get to it in a minute, because this is, Steve, you can't listen to 4 hours every day. I don't believe it. I have been saying for the last however many months since this was said, I talk about that every week. I talk about their foreign minister saying, if you keep moving weapon systems and troops and training and destabilizing in Poland and in Czech Republic and in Georgia and in Ukraine and in all these areas and in the stands and moving your military in, we're going to start moving nukes near you. And I have said that on record. So go ahead.
Okay, so you're reporting your point of view. You don't ever mention the people in Eastern and Central Europe talking about a domino theory where the situation is the dialectic. In other words, Russia.
Sir, Russia, hold on a minute. Russia is shrinking, not getting bigger. It wasn't Russia that snuck attacked a U.S. military base last Thursday night. It was the United States, which isn't our government anymore. I'm just stating facts. I can't stand communist or leftism or any of this stuff. I'm here trying to give you a real geopolitical view into this. Did Georgia not blow the hell out of an entire city and massacre a bunch of Russian troops and peacekeepers out of a clear blue sky where they've been since 1991? In a ceasefire in 2 areas that have always been part of Russia? Ossetia. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. If what you say were true, the first thing they would have done was blow that tunnel between the Ossetia and North Ossetia, the Roki Tunnel. You can only get tanks or trucks in.
Hold on. What are you saying I'm lying about?
Well, what I'm saying is...
I mean, Georgia admits they snuck attack Russia.
I doubt that. There were...
What on... Hold on a minute. I'm going to put you on hold. This is too insane. Okay. I mean, Georgia... Tarpley, what do you say to something like this?
Well, this is the U.S. media line. This is CNN. This is what Bush says. This is what Zalmay Khalilzad says at the United Nations, what McCain says and what Obama says. And it's a big lie. It's a Goebbels big lie. The aggressor is Georgia. You have whatever the status quo was. The Russian peacekeepers were there under a signed agreement with the Georgian government from 15 years ago.
And let me add, the Georgians had already been taking pot shots at the Russian troops and citizens, beating people up, killing them in the outlying towns around Ossetia. Ethnic cleansing, that's why the Russians had to come in 1992, 93. And then let me expand. They shut the water off to Ossetia a month ago and already had them under siege.
And they basically had a campaign of bombings and assassinations building up to this. So it's a cynical, orchestrated plan by Georgia. Now, the Russians see it coming, and they say, fine, you want to attack, we'll be ready for you. And they have.
And the minute they attacked, they took the bridge and the tunnels. But look, Steve, I don't think.
I would also ask, ultimately, beyond all the details, you want to have your children incinerated in a thermonuclear fireball for the sake of that bandit, that little Hitler Saakashvili? That's crazy.
Look, I'm going to come back to you, Steve. We're going to skip this break, too, for Infowars.com listeners. Got to go to those streams, folks. But, I mean, this is completely... Steve, I'm blown away here. You think I'd go on air and lie to you about Georgia attacking Russia? I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, are you serious, Steve? Bring Steve back up.
He's there.
Steve, are you there? All right, we're going to go to break and see if we can get Steve raised back up on the phone. Steve, it's just incredible. I mean, all I do is report the facts here, and I'm living in la-la land. More of your calls right now. Stay with us. Webster, this is just getting too crazy when people are in total denial. Are you still there, Steve, or did you hang up? I guess Steve...
Okay, it looks like it dropped off.
Steve finally dropped off. Steve, you can call back at 1-800-259-9231 if you can get back in. Webster, that is just flabbergasting. All the media at the footnotes, if you'll just read the bottom of the articles, admit Georgia ran a sneak attack, and he's saying we're making stuff up?
Robert Kagan, the neocon Robert Kagan in the Washington Post yesterday says, we're not interested in the details of how this started. In other words, the massacre of 2,000 people in the middle of the night. Forget those details. Let's look at the big picture.
Well, the Russians had to move in there, or it would have set a precedent for them to start leveraging into Russia proper.
Yeah, imagine, this is direct killing of Russian soldiers.
Attacking police bases, military bases, blowing the daylights out of them, midnight sneak attack, admitted. Then CNN shows the Georgian missile launchers firing and says they're Russian. That's now come out. I mean, just they treat the public like they're complete idiots, and I guess some of them really want to be lied to.
And look, this is the same media that brought you 9/11 and the Iraq War and Obama, and now they're trying to bring you this. And also the ones 2 years ago when the Israelis invaded Lebanon, we were supposed to sympathize with the Israelis.
Yeah, they called that a Lebanese attack.
Right. Same thing. Hezbollah is really bad, yeah. All right, so it's just a fraud. And the first Gulf War, and now the
Oh, listen, I had a news guy at the local radio station do a show at, syndicated on Sundays, kind of argue with me, and he was going, you're saying Georgia attacked? And I'm just going, you know what? I can't deal with this anymore. I mean, I just... There's
also the question of the bombing of Kosovo and Serbia.
I know the media said the Serbs attacked when for years we had this Al-Qaeda being funded attacking.
Yeah, you have the KLA or UCK, which is this terrorist gun-running, drug-running, slave-running organization. You're supposed to sympathize with them. Anyway,
let's take another call.
Have eyes and see not.
Rico in Toronto, you're on the air. Come on ahead, Rico.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I was going to say, it seems the more things change, the more they stay the same. Like, take for example the illegal alien situation. And in the late '60s, early '70s, like like all these radical groups were always funded and controlled by like big foundations, big money, and they were actually encouraged to have problems, to create problems, should I say, so that basically the police would come, the state would come.
Yeah, so they can balkanize. Same thing with the Black Panthers. They go in and radicalize. Stay there, Rico. We're coming back on the main broadcast. I want to get Webster's Tarpley take on that, then I'll give you a counterpoint or another statement or question after that with Rico in Toronto, then Elliot, Jeff, Cliff, and others. We got to move quick with calls, though, because I want to get a lot of your questions in. Here we go.